Should you move to New Jersey? The pros and the cons of living in New Jersey. Well, I grew up in New Jersey. I lived here for 37 years. I've been back for the past several weeks visiting my mother. I moved down to Florida a couple years ago, or a year and a half ago. And so I figured take this opportunity to share with you the pros and the cons of New Jersey. Now, I often reference jokes about New Jersey in my videos because, it's a little bit bitter when you grew up with something and when you leave it, you tend to only remember the bad things. But so first, let me start with the good things about New Jersey. The good thing is there's a lot of job opportunities and it's one of the wealthiest states in America. So because it's right outside of New York City, which is a major financial and metropolitan hub of the world, you're going to have an overflow of money and of opportunity. So if I had to move to New Jersey, and if I was just starting a career, I would tend to look in central or northern New Jersey, closer to New York City, because that's where there's going to be more opportunity and more to choose from, not just what your jobs, but colleges. There's Rutgers College. There's great healthcare, great hospitals within the state, and there's great public schools if you were going to raise a family. There's bad towns and there's good towns. But on average, central and northern Jersey, if you pick the right town, you'd have to do your own research depending on your individual circumstance. That's what I would recommend to start because of the school system and job opportunity. Now, southern New Jersey is beautiful, great coastline, different things it can offer, but there's also a lack of job opportunity and a lack of the infrastructure, public school system, etc., as far as being high quality, because it's a little bit more remote, southern New Jersey, and definitely if you're away from Philadelphia. Because if you were in southern western New Jersey, you're close to Philadelphia, so you get some outflow there. Again, this is all relative, but I'm trying to give you a general perspective. Southern New Jersey tends to be more retirees and type deal. And central and northern New Jersey tends to be where the abundance of job opportunities, infrastructure, and amenities are. So the cons, high property tax, and there is a state income tax of 5 to 6% depending on your income level. But the pro is, the reason there's high taxes is because people make high income. So you'll hear often a lot of people, especially retirees, they don't like the property tax, they don't like the income tax. And I can understand that, but if it wasn't for them making an above average salary in New Jersey, then, they wouldn't be able to afford what they have. So a lot of times people make their money, they work their career in New Jersey, and then they retire in another state that's more tax friendly. And so when you hear people complain about higher taxes, you have to take in perspective, on average, they're still making more money than most other states. So, example, in Florida, which I love, Florida has lower property tax and no state income tax, but the job opportunities and specifically the job pay is lower. The pay scale down in Florida is 25 to 30% lower. So, and if you look at different states, especially if you have a list of states that you're thinking of moving to, you have to not just look at taxes, but the median income and job opportunities. Because, it's all going to be in proportion. If there's higher taxes, chances are that means there's more money that's floating around that area, and that's why there's a higher tax on just general speaking terms. So if you can have a good opportunity to build a career, if you can put your kids in a good public school system, if you have access to colleges, to healthcare, that's a good state. That's a pro. The con is the climate and the weather and the culture, a little bit. I'll talk about the culture last because it's not necessarily a con, but the climate, you have to enjoy all 4 seasons. Now, I hear a lot of people say they enjoy all 4 seasons. They enjoy fall, spring, and summer. But the reality of winter, and specifically 3 months, January, February, and March, when there are nor'easter snowstorms, when you got sometimes a foot of snow or more, and when you're dealing with brutal cold, which the Northeast does have, you're going to think twice about the state and how much you love it. It definitely got to me at the end. So, there's something to be said for building a snowman, but there's also something to be said to having to go to work in the morning, slipping on black ice, navigating around plows, a state of emergency because the roads are so bad. You got to deal with high winds that are cutting through your body. When we were young, we used to say the hawk is out, cold weather's out. So you're not going to be living an outdoor lifestyle like you would in Florida. I mean, it's just different. So, you get a couple months in the summer to enjoy the hot weather. Fall is nice. That's probably the nicest time of year. Spring can sometimes not bloom till late. And after a long winter, spring doesn't seem like it starts till soon. So for me, that would be a con that I don't like that. The culture, I would say, is very diverse, especially the more northern you are in New Jersey, because, again, you're right outside of New York City, so you're by a melting pot, a variety of different cultures, races, religions. And, like my grandparents came from Italy, which is right by Ellis Island, right off Jersey City shoreline. A lot of immigrants come into that area because it's a major port to the world. So you have a bunch of different type of people from all over the world. Overall, everyone, people get along. There's always nasty people in all different walks of life. But you do have a general understanding of life. And, and I would say it's kind of, a very balanced state. It's sometimes thought of as a liberal or a democratic state. And this is part of culture. That's why I'm talking about politics. But it's somewhat neutral to maybe a lean, because for 8 years we had Chris Christie, who was a Republican, and there's a lot of conservatives in the state, especially more as you get south. And that's good. It balances, but it tends to lean a little bit more democratic, a little bit more liberal, because you got so many different types of people, not just one type of people. So I would say overall, you have a very somewhat moderate state that tends to lean democratic. No one's going to bother you as far as on average. Again, there's bad people everywhere. But whatever thing you're into in life, it's like it's not a small town. Even though there are small towns within New Jersey, it's again, it's a melting pot almost. Food is great because because you got so much different culture. You have so many different foods to choose from. And again, you can go for a night out in town in Hoboken, in Jersey City, or New York City, or you can go to a remote area in Colts Neck and ride horses. So, it's actually called the Garden State because there used to be a lot of farms in New Jersey, and there still are a lot of farms in certain areas. So you got anything from the city to the shore, to the Jersey Shore in the summer, Atlantic City, places to find entertainment, to schooling, Rutgers, colleges, healthcare, and good public schools, good balance. So a lot to offer in many ways. Even though, again, I got tired of it at the end and I'm only back up here to visit my mom, I recognize the good that New Jersey has. I mean, there's cons too. But compared to the other states in America, in my opinion, there's a lot of other worse states that you can be in. A lot of other. I think New Jersey is on one of the better states to be in for the reasons I've listed. It has negatives, and not everyone would like it. Everyone has their own perspective. But I think, if you can deal with the weather, definitely winter is what I'm referencing, because that's a con, then you'd be okay. The pro is, look, you should be able to get a good job for the most part above average. Con is you're going to pay a little bit more in taxes, but you should still net more than in most other states. So weigh out the pros and cons, but when you think of moving to a state, you think about, can I make a living there financially? What's the affordability? You can find some affordable housing, but I think America in general is plagued with a lack of affordable housing now throughout the country. Because even if you live in a cheaper state like Florida or wherever, I mean, affordable housing is hard to find when the economy is good no matter what. So you got to really be cautious of that. But I think you think about a job, you think about, cost of living, which tends to be a little bit higher in New Jersey, but that's because the salaries are higher. You think about the school systems if you have children, which are good here. Again, it depends. There's bad areas of New Jersey too, so you have to do some research. And you think about infrastructure, healthcare, amenities, and you have that. Entertainment, you have it, but again, it's a city vibe. If you go out for entertainment, there's some country land too. So, it's a mixed bag. But I wanted to share with you some insight. If this video helped you in any way, just rambling a little bit, click that thumbs up button, share the video, subscribe if you're not. I'll see you in the next one. Peace and love.